Arlington needs to get its shine back. That was the main message delivered by Colonel James Baker, an Arlington resident and a former commander of the Vermont State Police, on Friday, September 22nd, before an audience of about 100 people at Arlington Memorial High School. Baker, who currently works in Washington, D.C. for an association of national police chiefs, will be returning to his hometown this January to help oversee an initiative under development for the past few months, which aims to promote the town both externally and internally. The initiative was originally begun by several local community leaders who then reached out to Baker to come back and head up the effort. Baker described the murder of an elderly woman, Helen Jones, last January as a tipping point or a wake-up call that made it clear that times had changed for the small town of about 2,000 residents and that the trend needed to be reversed. There are fewer small, locally owned businesses in town than there were 20 or 30 years ago, and a smaller number of students in the local public school system.
Arlington is facing challenges, not unlike many rural communities in Vermont, and now from my experience in working in Washington across the country. Over the next several months, citizens of Arlington will be asked to join one of 6 committees that will be created, and charged with strengthening the social fiber, the quality of life, and the community well-being of Arlington. And I must say, in the surrounding area, we consider our neighbors our friends.
The 6 committees will start meeting this fall as volunteers sign up to fill them, with financial support being provided by Mack Molding, a major local employer, and the Keelan Family Foundation. Currently, there are no other state or local financial resources lined up to assist the effort, which will rely heavily on volunteer efforts, Baker said. Audience members had several questions about the initiative, and some maintained that Arlington was now, and always had been, a good place to live and raise families.
We came here 40 years ago, and I love being in this community. And so I'm trying to, rather than feeling like there's an apathy here, I don't think there's an apathy here.
I agree.
And rather than feeling, just as you were talking about, Jim, don't use negative kind of thinking about what's happening. What we're looking at is people interested in doing more. And I think that's wonderful. But I think the bedrock is totally here and has been here the whole time I've been here.
Marianne, I don't disagree with you at all. So we're not, what we're trying to do today, September 22nd, 2017, is stop that conversation by pointing out to people that we have a lot to work with here, and it's a matter of bringing people together. The other thing I would say to you, Marianne, is that, and again, please don't take this like it's an argumentative tone, but when I went into Rutland, one of the things I heard all the time is, oh, we don't have a heroin problem, it's no worse than anywhere else. And until you acknowledge what your issues are, you're never going to be able to fix them. And so when Don and Flo came to me and asked me about this, I've been pretty adamant with them in every conversation we've had. If we don't acknowledge what our weaknesses are, you can't fix your weaknesses. So I agree with you 100%. But I do think we have to be very candid with ourselves and honest about where our weaknesses are, because you're not going to fix those weaknesses permanently if you don't. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir. You've been in government service for a long time. I think you know. You've got to acknowledge what your issues are.
Baker drew on his experience with Project Vision in Rutland when he was the police chief there to describe how he thought the committees might be formed and operate. Project Vision was a collaborative effort involving many public and private agencies formed to counter the opioid crisis that was enveloping Rutland several years ago, and the initiative has often been credited with helping turn things around and give Rutland a more positive sense of where the city was heading. After the meeting, Tim Stewart, the principal of Arlington Memorial High School, and William Basic, the school superintendent, discussed the role the local schools might be playing.
Well, I was involved with the community group. The big thing we're trying to do is Seniors for Seniors, which was an idea from Jim Baker. So we already have 10 high school seniors signed up, and we're looking for some senior citizens for community service. So that's a small thing that we're going to start, and we're looking forward to it. I met with Nancy Cefalo, who's HR at MAC, on Pathways. I've already met multiple times with Dr. Josh Sherman. I toured that, so we're in conversation of that. Totally Pathways is the way to go. And we've done it in the past as a school, but we want to amp it up.
The school is obviously the focal point of the community, and it's where the residents are going to come from. So it's going to be a large part of this. We want to be able to show what a great school system we are. And we're kind of a hidden gem down here between MAU and Burn Academy, but we are one of the only small public schools in southern Vermont that offers a really unique experience that both those large schools can't offer. So we're hoping to, Jim Baker talked about that connection with Mac Molding. So we're hoping to start some programs for our students to be able to work within the school, be able to be within the school system, work part-time if need be at Mac Molding or some of the other local businesses, and then be able to stay here because not everyone wants to leave or is going to leave. So, and we need workers and such. So, there has not been a strong partnership between the schools and the local businesses, and that's something that's going to change, hopefully.
Other residents also commented on what they thought about the initiative and where the effort could lead.
I'm a senior at the high school and a sophomore at the high school, and I'm actually one of the people on the school committee. And we know that Arlington is the heart of the Shires and a vital part of what brings tourism to the area. So it resonates in a great way. It's resources that we have that are wonderful, and it's just letting everybody else know that they're out there.
For me, at least, Arlington has not lost its shine. It might have dimmed a little bit or dulled, and we have to really shine that up. But I'm proud to be from Arlington. I am proud to live here, work here, volunteer here, and I think just having these committees created will help us really join many groups. So Jim mentioned all these organizations in town, right? All the nonprofits, all these boards. There's 20 boards, active boards in the town of Arlington. How can we make them communicate better, right? So we know everyone wants to support the next spaghetti dinner, right? Let's work together as a team and really, because it's all for the benefit of Arlington, and work together that way.
I think there was a longer-term conversation going on amongst some folks in town, but I think the loss of Mrs. Jones crystallized that. And people finally said, can we bring a group of folks together to take a look at how can we do things a little bit different? And at the end of the day, it really is about economic development. People look for the complicated answers and they're fairly simple. So I'll use Rutland again. Not that Rutland's problems have gone away, but the Project Vision is a national model, and it was done with absolutely very little operating cash, and it was simply taking all the assets that were in the city of Rutland and getting them into one room, force multiplying those assets, and measuring what your success was.
From my perspective, things are happening over the last 15 years. The closing of the Catholic Church, the closing of the stores, the B&Bs, the reduction of students in the school, and also the amount of people that come out for town meeting. We have 65 out for the town meeting out of 1,843 voters. There's some apathy at play here. When only, I think, 6 or 7% vote on a $7 million school budget. It's apathy's at work. But I think Arlington has an awful lot to offer. I think Jim Baker mentioned that in his both the natural things that we have here, the fiscal things with the Mac Molding Company. I mean, you have the 6th largest employer in Vermont here, and when you remove UVM and the Fletcher Allen Hospital, because they're in the top employers in the state, I believe, Mac is about 3rd. In the size, and we have them right here in Arlington. So, I mean,
People interested in serving on one of the committees should contact the town clerk, Robin Wilcox, at the town hall at 375-2332. For the GNet TV News Project, I'm Andrew McKeever.